Everybody's got a price. Everybody's gonna pay.
Hello and welcome back for me to Sharp Bets and Fantasy Sets, and obviously welcome back to the show itself. We appreciate you guys tuning in this week to check us out. I am one of your hosts and returning host, Nick. Alongside me, I have regular hosts, Tim. Should I say regular hosts, Tim and Sir, and then guest Scott, or just regular hosts?
Yeah, I don't care at this point. It's your call.
So regular.
Yo, what about this guy? This guy's been going for about a year and a half, and also you don't remember nothing?
Regular co-hosts, Tim, Sir, and Mr. True Exact himself, Scott. How we doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm glad you're back because there's a lot of pressure setting up the show, but we made an agreement until I get taken over in the leaderboards, I have to come on. So
we appreciate you being a good sport and jumping on. You are what right now? 9-3?
Yes, sir. Sadly.
And the rest of us suck. So why don't we get the shot out of the way first?
Oh,
That's how it is. I know I'd probably follow it the least, and somehow I'm in first. Go figure.
I'm doing Scatterbrain Dark Chocolate Banana Whiskey. So
sounds insane. I'm doing seltzer.
I'm also doing seltzer.
Tim's not doing the shot.
Boy, have you missed a lot, Nick. Not keeping up with the show.
Do we not do shots anymore?
Oh my
Hold on.
God.
I got you, Pippin. I got you.
Sir got you.
Salud. Let's ride.
All right. So you can check out our show Twitch, which you're doing right now. Thursdays leading into the Thursday night football game. We have all of our prop picks, any kind of picks that we like really for tonight's game, so you can get your bets in. We also will be running through our 3-team parlay. We'll be breaking down DFS. We'll even talk a little bit about the big fight Saturday night between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury for the heavyweight championship of the world. The lineal heavyweight champ. For people that don't like boxing, this is the title from the man who beat the man who beat the man. This is the title in professional boxing, the one that Ali's held, the one that Tyson's held, the one that everyone's held. So this is the fight. I'm excited to break it down. I know Scott is too. But Scott, why don't you run down real fast and talk about what kind of upcoming shows we have coming down the line?
All right, just a couple ones. I probably updated them last week, I think. So next week we're going to have the show with Laser from American Gladiators will be dropping. And then a week after that, he will also be a guest on the show with his nutritional chief health officer for Opsis Health, where they invented an app with someone who's worked for Steve Jobs. Kevin Grundy is his name. And he talks about the new app and how it could actually change, the health system and stuff, which is pretty cool. And October, our Halloween episode, Duodemonology, and also we just dropped a music video with Ren Thomas, New Jersey Devils, and that's pretty much it.
So it's about the year anniversary from when me and my wife interviewed. I think you called her that broad.
That broad, yeah.
Maybe we'll see if we can try to get another Halloween one together. I'll start kicking the tires on some people and getting some potential guests for Halloween, so we'll see.
Last time I said that to you, Nick, back in July, I said, start looking for guests for the show. Time sneaks up, and you said, thanks, boss, and you never got a guest for the show, so you better start now.
You guys remember when you were talking about American Gladiator in Spartan? Do you guys remember the Nintendo game American Gladiators?
It was so hard.
You know the one where I was just thinking about the one where you have to jump on the rope and you have to jump on the platform and you're going back and you'd always jump as you're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That game was like one of the most difficult games. Sir, I know you remember Nintendo, right?
Yes.
It was fucking 30 when that shit came out.
Hey,
Sir,
I got Nintendo, bro.
So these out there.
There you go. Those are great.
Nintendo shoes.
I swear we didn't have this planned beforehand.
A stupid dog would mimic you like a damn dog.
Sir, real fast, rapid fire. Your favorite Nintendo game of all time. Go.
Balloon fight.
Okay.
All right.
Tim, what do you got?
Bubble Bobble.
Okay, that's a good one. Scott?
That's a great one, and just so I don't have to say this same one, I'll say Battletoads.
I don't want to say the same as all of you guys, although I think Bubble Bobble would be up there, but I'll go DuckTales because that was
great. Yeah,
It's also a great theme song for those of you who
number one.
follow that.
should have been Darkwing Duck, but you know, what's that phrase I use a lot? I digress. So I digress. So thanks for tuning in at SBFS Show on Twitter, on Twitch. You can check out our show. It'll drop on Saturday morning on YouTube, True Exact Radio channel. So you can check that out there. Sunday night, we will drop some of our prop bets, favorites of the week for the Sunday night football game between Kansas City and Buffalo. We'll drop those on Twitter and or TikTok, and we'll do the same thing on Monday for Monday night's game so that we could try to gain some viewers from places that we don't normally try to grab some
And
viewers.
win you some more money. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all about that paper.
So it's all about the money. So what do you guys want to do first? You want to do Tim, you want to talk? You didn't really talk much about the fact that the Jets won a game. The Jets and Giants won a game, so you could put it on the board, as Hawk Harrelson would say.
Yes! I
So-
told you guys last week the Jets are going to the Super Bowl. I called it. I said there's no doubt about it. The Jets are. No, I did not say that. The Jets played really well. I mean, they had a great game plan offensively. They took advantage of Tennessee's mistakes, especially in the red zone. Game should have been 21-0 in the first quarter, and the Titans probably would have ran away with the game. But you know, they played bad. Our offense stepped up. Zach played like a real quarterback. They had some design plays to get him out of the pocket, use his legs, and he use his arm and chuck it down the field. And, well, everything worked out. And luckily for me, live bets are a real thing. And when I saw at halftime that the Tennessee wasn't really looking good, and I was like, Tennessee's in every single one of my bets, I put in a nice little hefty hedge the other way to make, myself some money. And then in overtime, when the Jets scored first, there was only, handful of minutes left, and they were still getting plus 600 and getting half a point. So that means Tennessee needed to score a touchdown in order for them to cover. And I was like, oh, I'm going to throw some extra money on that. And, I would have won some money because even if he made the field goal tie game, still would have gave me the half a point win. But hitting both ends of it for the Jets and my team winning was a feeling I haven't had in a long time, and it felt pretty good.
Hey, Tennessee not having A.J. Brown and Julio also helped a little bit.
Yeah,
That's the point. I mean, the Jets didn't look good in the first couple weeks of the season, but you have, Carolina, their defense has been playing really, really well. You have, Bill Belichick, who always, knows how to game plan. You saw what he did against Tom Brady. He obviously can game plan against anybody. Not saying that, they're going to win every game, but, they play them tight. I thought that this was a game that the Jets could win, especially with those two receivers out. And I know Tim would constantly come back and say they still have Derrick Henry, and they do. But and he had a great game. I mean, but it just seemed like it was the right game for them to cover. And being +7, I mean, I remember, I do a weekly pool. I was picking Tim's brain, as I normally do. I said, I kind of like the Jets +7. Tim's response, they have Derrick Henry. So I was like, I don't know. So I ended up settling on Houston +16, and we all know how that turned out. So I was like, I don't know, +16 is a lot of points. I kind of like Houston. I think Buffalo is still scoring points on Houston somewhere. So
Can I give credit where credit's due? I do believe, Scott, did you have the Jets money line?
no, I didn't. But I do remember saying last week where it was 6.5 when we did the show.
Yeah.
It was fishy. Like, why isn't it more? And like it was when Tim took that pick, it was just weird because the Titans should have been more, and it was kind of like one of those I dare you to bet the Titans. So that's why I actually stayed away from that game completely. But there was someone at FanDuel who had $1,000 on the money line on the Jets to win. He was very intense. So
Rightfully so.
but after the 4:00 games ended, I cashed my bet and got out of there. And it was actually great timing because we didn't hit the traffic because the Jets were in overtime. It was beautiful.
So let me ask you guys this. So you have the Jets now in London, neutral field. I guess it's a home game for Atlanta. Jets are +3, +118 money line, over under 45. No Ridley. no Calvin Ridley out this week due to a personal matter.
Personal matters, he says.
Something
Yeah,
like that. So you have Russell Gage, who I think missed practice yesterday.
he's out too.
Yeah, okay, so you have
Gage
what?
and Ridley are both out.
Zacharias or whatever his name is,
Yeah.
and maybe it's a Pitt show. But what do you think? I mean, I got to be honest. I think the Jets can win this game outright. I do. They're not one of my 3 bets, and this might be a good segue into it. But they're not one of my 3 bets. But Jets +3. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like them again. I kind of think they're going to win outright, honestly.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to bet Atlanta, and if the Jets win, I'll be a happy Jets fan. And if not, I'll have some green in my pocket. I don't trust those overseas trips. It's
hard.
I don't know what to do with them. The field's always mucky. You don't know if there's going to be, be able to kick field goals in it. It's just super weird over there with the field.
Yeah.
Scott, sir, what do you like in Jets +3 money line +118?
I would probably actually lean towards Atlanta. I don't know. I see these games so much where the Jets win, and now it's like, all right, back to reality. I know Atlanta is not good, but it's just typical Jets, especially around here, Jets or Giants. You have that big win, everyone's up on you, and then you go lay a dud. So like I think it's kind of like daring you to take the Jets with the money line, and I wouldn't touch it. I'm not touching that game. I wouldn't, but I don't know. Everything's set up for the Jets to win, so they'll lose. That's just.
I know Atlanta has a new offensive coordinator, and due to this, their Calvin Ridley, who I was huge on going into the season, has not really been great from a fantasy standpoint. So I'll own that. Sir's been all over that, saying that he did not think Ridley was going to be very good. And I don't know if the offensive coordinator had much to do with it, or if it was just the loss of Julio Jones and thinking. I mean, he was getting a lot of targets. With Julio Jones absent last year during injury. But, sir, you were right on that, so I'll give you credit for that. I mean, he has not played well. Atlanta as a whole has not played well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. I give credit where credit is due.
We also just say how we constantly send London these shit games.
I know. They never get, like, Jacksonville Jaguar games like every other.
They're basically the London Jaguars.
And for those of our friends who are planning on watching this game, it's at the ripe old time of 9:30 in the morning. So make sure you got that morning beer. It's another slate of games, basically. So
get your drink ready. You'll need it.
Did we want to cover?
Game you can miss. Honestly, you don't need to start that early. Go do your errands in the morning because you're not going to miss anything during this game. Go mow the lawn.
Wait a minute, fam. Hold up. Nah. Yo, get your beverage in. Get you some pancakes. You'll be all right.
I kind of think Scott might be right, though, because outside of Calvin Ridley, who you're not going to be starting in fantasy, like what players in this game? I mean, I have to start Corey Davis because of Ridley not being healthy.
You also have to start Mr. Michael Carter Jr. You're the third or whoever the fuck he is.
I don't know if you could start him yet. He definitely has taken over lead back duties, but I don't know if you're starting him. I mean,
dude, some people need RB2.
Depending on your options, you might have to. You know what I'm saying?
Nick, I actually changed my mind after you just said that. I disagree with myself here. Now that you said that, there's going to be more people watching than you think because you have the only receiver is that Zacchaeus guy. And you know how many people saw Ridley out and just went to pick him up and start him just because it's the only option? So you probably will have a lot of eyes on it.
I'll tell you, Corduroy Patterson is their only option. And goddamn, that dude helped me out last week in DFS.
Yeah,
excuse me. This gentleman by the name of Mike Davis, he's not bad.
Trash can, sir.
Hey, don't disrespect Mike Davis like that, old boy.
He is the second rated running back in fantasy right now is Cordarrelle Patterson. You can't
Never
make that.
Never
I mean, it's only week 4. It's only week 4. But still, it's amazing to see that even the experts can't predict that. I mean, there's no way to predict that Cordarrelle Patterson would have been the second most, highest fantasy points running back.
He's a running back, but he's like one of those jack of all trades where he lines up at receiver. He lines up in the backfield. Any way to get him touches. You remember how good he was to returns,
It's true. I'm glad we ran long on the Jets for our recap because the other thing I had on the line was just how Dallas, you'd have to be happy as a Dallas Cowboys fan. I mean, they look like potential Super Bowl contenders. But we don't have time for that. So let's get into our 3-game picks. And Scott, you are the leader at 9-3.
Right.
So we'll do this. Since you're the leader, we don't need to defer. You go first, but you pick the order of how you want us to break these down. Since you are the reigning defending champ and season-long champ so far, it's going to be hard to catch up and beat you. But I remember being in last place at this point last year, and we all know who won last year. So,
Right.
it would be me. So you pick first, and real quick, what's our records? What are we, 4-8?
4-8. You guys are 4-8 right now. I believe Nick had a 1-2 week last week. Tim had a 2-1, and Sir with the big 0-3, I believe. So
I will say this in my own personal parlays. Obviously, I haven't won one yet in a parlay aspect, but I'm 25-18 in terms of picks, so +7. In terms of just personal parlays. So you pick.
All right, I'm gonna go with the 1-3s first from the teams who are 1-3 in real life first. So, Sir, you're gonna go in a little bit. Calm down, and I'll get to Tim, Nick, Sir, and then I'll go last. So, Tim, since your Jets are,
Coming off a win.
Yeah, there you go.
Just like I am, baby. 2-1. That's a winning record. I'll keep these short and sweet and to the point. Green Bay -3 versus Cincy. This is based on the fact that I don't think Joe Mixon is going to play. And if Joe Mixon doesn't play, it turns that team one-dimensional. In order to beat somebody handily, you only got to worry about one thing, the pass. Green Bay -3, that's a complete team. I think they run away with it, beat them by double digits. Game number 2, no particular order. Give me the football team. That's right, Nick, not the Reds, it's the football team. Getting 2.5 right now against New Orleans. I think they win outright, to be honest with you. If the Giants could beat them, Washington played well against the Giants. I think it rolls over. Football team wins. And the third choice, and I'm going to take these boys until they lose for me. It's the Dallas Cowboys. Get -7 against the Giants. I know it's a divisional game, and Giants played well their last game. I just don't see a team staying close to Dallas in that division. Not the way they're playing right now. Need something bad to happen, but Dallas has backups of everything besides the quarterback. So, knock on wood. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But I'm going to take the Cowboys until they let me down, and they've been my winning team. Basically 3 weeks in a row, so I'm going to stick with them.
All right. Well, we will not be going head-to-head on any games, although anytime I see the Giants +7, I just, for whatever reason, I took them last week against the Saints, and they were down 10 in the fourth quarter. Daniel Jones had a great comeback to win that game, really, in overtime. But anytime I see the Giants +7, so I was looking this morning and I was like, well, last year doesn't count because Dak got hurt in the first game, and I don't remember what the outcome was of the second game, but I'm sure it was very close. If the Giants didn't win outright, I don't remember truly. So I started looking in 2019 to see, well, what did Dallas and the Giants do? And Dallas absolutely smashed them both games. So I was like, I'm staying away from this game. Although, again, anytime I see the Giants +7, I start to feel like I have to take them at +7. I mean, they've played well so far, but I'm not going them. I'm going with other terrible teams. So I'm taking 2 dogs and I'm taking a favorite. And my first dog is, when you get knocked off the horse, you get right back on the horse. And I'm going back to Detroit. I'm taking Detroit +9.5 against Minnesota on the road. This number has continued to go up. I like this number a lot. The thing that scares me the most is this number continues to go up. It was, when it started out, I believe it was +8. It's already up to +9.5. I think that might have to do with the fact that Detroit has listed quite a few offensive linemen as doubtful or hurt. So I don't really truly know, but I feel like anything over a touchdown, I'm going to probably take Detroit. Minnesota has done nothing to show me that they're a great football team. They even lost to Cleveland last week, and Cleveland looked terrible. I mean, everybody's probably seen the GIFs and the video so far. Baker Mayfield just missing Odell Beckham over and over and over again, which is kind of funny to the fact that Odell Beckham all he did was bitch about the quarterback play for the Giants. And I sound like a Giant fan this week. I don't know why I sound like a Giant fan.
Wow, you've been going for a year and a half and turned to a Giant fan?
I'm defending the Giants. But anyway, it's just
you got the Giant blue underneath the shirt? I see.
Baker looks terrible. I think that he might have a torn labrum or a partial torn labrum. I don't know, something like that. But I'm going Detroit plus 9.5. I'm also taking Chicago, who, Matt Nagy has just recently said after going back and forth. I mean, I don't know how this guy's still a head coach, but Matt Nagy finally saying now Justin Fields is the starting quarterback as long as he's healthy, which is the move that needed to be made. Although he has not looked great, I'm taking Chicago plus 5.5 against Vegas. And this has more to do with the fact that Vegas seems to have no way of, on defense at least, blowing a team out. Like Pittsburgh, for example. We know what happened in week 1. They won the game in week 1, but, the Ravens had that game for much of it. Pittsburgh looks terrible. Big Ben looks cooked, but they still put up 17 points against Vegas. You have the Dolphins and Jacoby Brissett putting up tons of points against, the Vegas Raiders. And you look at, Jacoby Brissett and you look at Lamar Jackson and you say, what do they have in common? What can Justin Fields do? Well, I think Justin Fields might be even faster. So, he can run the ball. He can do a lot of different things. But then you also look at, the Chargers are the worst red zone team in, the NFL. And scored on every red zone drive that they had against the Raiders. The Raiders are giving up tons and tons of points. So do I think the Raiders are a good football team? I think they're better than they've been in the past, but plus 5.5 for Chicago, I don't necessarily know if I buy into that. So I'm going to Chicago plus 5.5, and anything under a field goal, I feel like it's just doesn't make any sense to not take Kansas City. I don't really have any kind of analytics to that, but I'm going to take Kansas City minus 2.5. I think Buffalo is a great team, but I'm getting Patrick Mahomes, and I can win by a field goal or more and cover the bet. So I'm taking Kansas City. I kind of like the Eagles, too, at 3.5, but I didn't want to go 3 dogs back-to-back at 4 and 8, and I also didn't want to be labeled a homer, but I do really like the Eagles at plus 3.5. I do not think they're going to win, but I do think they will cover that number, and those are my picks. So I'm going Detroit, Chicago, Kansas City. That's me.
All right. Sir, you're up, man.
All right, man. First of all, Nick, we're going to call you a homer regardless. And did you say Justin Fields is faster than Lamar Jackson?
So what was Justin Fields? What was his speed?
I don't know that offhand, but that's a bold statement there, Mo. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's get to the picks.
I'm going to look it up.
All right, let's get to the picks. First pick starts tonight. I got the Rams minus 2. Listen, they were 3-0. They were cooking people. They went against the Cardinals, who McVay has his number. They had a little letdown. They were probably like, yeah, we beat Tampa. They go lay an egg against Arizona tonight. Bounce back game. They're gonna go give Seattle the business. Say, just take the Rams minus 2. Second part, I've been riding this horse, and it blew up in my face last week because the Jets decided to score 1 million points and break their record for the most points scored in a game since 1982. But I'm still going with the Jets. Falcons under 45.5. So with no Ridley, with no Ridley, with no Gage, out overseas. The weather's probably going to be nasty. It's still the Jets. I don't care. I'm taking the under. And then the third game, I see you too, old boy. Game 3, give me Green Bay minus 3 against the Bengals. Yes, the Bengals have been playing good ball. But you said with no Mixon, the competition has been a little shaky. Still Aaron Rodgers, still Devontae Adams. Give me the Packers minus 3. Honorable mention, it's not part of my picks, but the Bills plus 3 against the Chiefs. Listen, I don't like betting against Mahomes either, but the Chiefs have not been playing Chiefs football. The defense couldn't stop us 4. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Manny Sanders. They've been putting up points in bunches. They just scored again against Houston. So I think it's a big game for them boys. It's time to take the crown in the AFC. So I don't mention to Buffalo plus 3, but I can't bet against Mahomes.
Two quick points on that. So Lamar Jackson 4.34, Justin Fields 4.44. So
okay, so see the way math works is 4.34.
But close. And I do
faster than us.
I do want to make known. So I had Kansas City laying 2.5. I was using Barstool Sports for mine.
I saw DK had him at plus 3. This was about an hour.
No, that's fine. I just want to make known that those are why our picks are different.
Gotcha. All right, it's gonna be interesting because I feel like we all have different picks. I only chose one of the same games as all you guys, so whoever listens and watches is gonna have some things to play with. So the first game I'm going with one home favorite, one road favorite, and one home underdog. I don't know. Just listen. All right, so I'm going with the Steelers at home -1 versus the Broncos. Steelers are 1-3. They're never in this position. This is a must-win for Pittsburgh. Big Ben's crying like he normally does, and usually when he has some sort of injury, he comes out and plays good. So I'm taking the Steelers versus the Broncos -1. Go on.
What else? The only reason why it's not a bad pick, but the only reason why it's one is because Teddy Two Gloves may not play. And when Drew Lock came in the ball game, he looked like certified trash. So keep an eye on that status.
If Teddy Bridgewater was playing, I would take him as well. I don't think
if Theodore play, I mean, I don't know. I don't know his status. I don't know if he's game timer or if he's just ruled out already. But keep an eye on that because Theodore may play, and if he plays, I don't like that one. I don't like that Steelers getting -1 or whatever if Theodore plays.
Yeah, I didn't even know that, so I was making the pick thinking he was playing regardless. So I just think the Broncos aren't that good, and they're coming back down to earth. They won 3 games. Their teams were 0-9, and now they went and lost to a good team. Even though the Steelers aren't good, they're back home. That's what I'm going with. Game number 2. I think there's an NFC West game, a team that is in a must-win situation, and the Cardinals just made a statement in LA and beat the Rams. I think they're going to come home and have a letdown. I'm going with the Niners +4.5 on the road in Arizona to cover the spread, and I wouldn't be shocked if they outright win this game. And then my final one, this team has had 10 days to prepare. This is a statement game to prove you could stay with the class of the NFC. I'm actually going with the Bengals +3 at home versus the Packers. I actually think they're going to win this game outright. I think that Rodgers has had 3 in a row. You go on the road now, a team 10 days to prepare. This is it. I think they lose this game, so those are my picks. Bengals +3. Niners +4.5, and the Steelers -1. So that's it from me. You guys got.
Do y'all smell that? I smell a losing record from this dude right here. You know what I'm saying? We time to bring him down to earth. Let's get it.
I feel as though it's time for us to get a little bit closer to the top.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like we're going.
You guys mentioned Dak really quick. He's 20-6 versus the NFC East in his career, which is a very, very good number. So I don't expect.
Because that division been trashed for years. What you talking about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever.
Yeah, you have to still beat the people you play, old boy.
Wait, what's his record against non-NFC East?
I didn't do that, man. I don't know. The guy's better than people give him credit for. One of the games I do like too, which is interesting, which reminded me of the Jets one last week. The Chargers -2. Why isn't that higher versus the Browns? That one's scary as shit to me. Like, why aren't the Chargers a -6.5 there? I wouldn't touch it, but I actually might take the Browns if I had to. But that's it. I'm not doing it. So I think you guys got a chance to make up some ground here.
Scott, you just brought up some quarterback that used to play in Dallas, or that still plays in Dallas. But what about the guy who used to play in Dallas? Are you happy that he's getting his number back?
Yeah, he deserves it. That's what happens when you take Tony's number. You get off the team. How about Jerry Jones, though, made him, buy out all the 54 jerseys before he switched, and then he cut them. So.
Cold-blooded.
I'm saying cold-blooded individual. Come on now.
It's smart. Jerry's world. We're all living in it. That's all.
That's it.
Well, good stuff. So then we're going to go into DFS. And, sir, you want to go first? You seem to be doing the best out of everyone.
Yeah, why not? First of all, can I give a shout out to the winner of the SB DFS League this week? Yo, shout out to your boy right here, man. Come on, you already know what it is. But but as a Nick would say, I digress. This week at quarterback, I got my man, Jimmy G, my man. What happened to you, Pippin? It's all right. We got somebody coming in for you, Mr. Trey Lance at 5,700 trade day. You know what I'm saying? Cheap option plus mobile. He's mobile, so I like 5,700 against the Cardinals. It's a high game total, so he should be able to put up some numbers. And that salary, he should pay it off. At running back, I got the King, Derrick Henry, 9K. He's Derrick Henry. I don't need to explain more. At running back 2, Mr. Montgomery. He's out. He was balling because I said last week. I said start Start him because that's the way to get a quarterback off. Just keep handing the ball to the running back. He's out. Damian Williams is in. 5,600. It's a great start. Wide receiver 1. Fellas, who's leading the NFL in receiving yards?
I don't know.
That would be Mr. Deebo Samuel, young man. 7,100. I'm pairing him with Trey Lance. The ball, you put the ball in his hands, he's gonna make people miss. The ball's been balling. So 7,100. I like that. Wide receiver 2. I got Justin Jefferson. 7,700 against the Lions. He's got 37 targets through 3 games. I don't know if he's playing the Lions. I think I might have messed that one up. But this is the Vikings. 7,700. Boy's been balling.
You better be doing the gritty if you fucking win another week of DFS.
Wide receiver 3, I'm gonna take the Rook. I'm gonna take Jamar Chase at 5,800. Him and Burrow got that connection. No Joe Mixon. That means they're gonna throw the rock more to keep up with the Packers. That's 5,800. I like that salary. Tight end, I went to this well last week with the dart throws. I'm going back to the well. Give me Max Williams at 3,400. That Arizona offense, they put up points. Hopefully not a lot of points this week because they're playing my boys. But regardless, 3,400. Give me Max Williams. At the flex, Nick, I'm going with one of your boys. Cheap option, 3,400. Give me Zachary Ertz because, well, why not? You know what I'm saying? It's a cheap option. Out of the cheap options, he's a chance to maybe find the end zone. On defense, I like my cheap defenses. At 2,300, it's going to be sloppy. They played Buffalo, but take away that game, they've been averaging about 5-6 fantasy points a game. Give me the Washington football team. Chase Young, just get me a couple sacks. Just do something. How I like my cheap defenses. If they put up 7 points, this line up going cash.
Pretty good. I like that you took Zach Ertz. Tim, what do you got?
All right. Sir, I got a couple of same picks as you. I think we got the same strategy as far as defenses go. Football team, 2,300, New Orleans. It's Jameis Winston. They look bad against the Giants, so I think the football team's got a better defense than the Giants do. So at 2,300, can't go wrong there. I've also got Deebo Samuel at wide receiver. Trey throws the ball deeper more often. Let Deebo use his speed, use his elusiveness, as Sir said. Looks good to me. At quarterback, Sir, you went with one side of the board. I went with the other. Give me Kyler Murray at 8,000. And I paired him with Mr. Christian Kirk, 4,900. Last time they played San Fran, he went 10 for 76. He does that again, 4,900. It's pretty good value. Running back 1, give me Leonard Fournette at, I think, 5,200 against Miami. They're finally using him as a number 1. He's getting the targets out of the backfield as far as receiving. If he doesn't come off the field, that value is very big. Running back 2, we've been talking about Mixon being out all week. I think the guy who's filling in for him, Samaje Perine, at 4K against Green Bay. And I'm just taking him because he's a cheap option to fit into my squad. I guess he's my wide receiver 1, even though I'm saying him last, is Devontae Adams, 8,200 versus Cincy. I think he needs not him, but Rodgers needs 2 touchdowns to become number 5 all time in receiving touchdown or in passing touchdowns, and I'm predicting it happens this week, and they're both going to Devontae. At flex, give me Zeke at 7K versus the Giants. I mean, the Giants' defense is not that great, and they've been feeding Zeke as they should, as they need to, even with Pollard there. At tight end, and to round out my lineup, give me Anthony Ferkshire at 3,100 versus Jacksonville. Thank you. At 3,100 versus Jacksonville. This is the same Jacksonville defense that just gave up 2 touchdowns to C.J. Uzama or T.J. It doesn't matter what his name is.
Who's your mama? What?
Yeah, but he gave up 2 touchdowns to a tight end last week. I'm going to see if that defense is just suspect to good tight end games, and I'm going to take Ferkshire. If that's even how you say his name. Sounds about right.
Good lineup. Scott, you want to break yours down?
Yeah, I did pretty well last week with Dak, Schultz, and Cooper. So I'm gonna and Debo Samuel. I had the other ones I don't remember. So I'm gonna continue 6,900 Dak. I mean that's pretty cheap for how good he's been playing as a quarterback, and he kind of like I said dominates the NFC. So we'll go with that. Running back, we'll go with Chuba Hubbard versus the Eagles for 6,000. I'm not sure if McCaffrey's in or not. Right, he's out. I don't care.
He's been practicing, so he might.
So
they say he's good to go, but.
It's just kind of a money thing, and I'm sure they'll split. He's going to be on a pitch count of some sort. I'm actually going to go with Miles Sanders, too, for 5,700 with the Eagles here. We kind of gashed Carolina towards the end of the game. The Eagles are being criticized for not running the ball too much, so they got to get back to it. The running back has to do something here. Wide receiver, Mike Evans, 6,800. I'm going to also match CeeDee Lamb, Dak for 6,200. I'll have Justin Jefferson, 7,700, along with Sir, because the Vikings didn't do anything last week, and Kirk Cousins is probably just going to launch bombs. Tight end, Connor Brate, 3,300. Houston defense, cheap, 2,300. I think that they're actually going to play the Patriots pretty well, and if not anything, not let up a lot of points. Patriots can't score. And my flex, I'll go Robbie Anderson for 5,000. So I got a lot of game between Carolina and Philly going into this. So I think, and I actually do think they'll cover Nick.
All right, good lineup. So I'm going quarterback. I'm going Jalen Hurts. There's my homer pick. We'll get that out of the way. 7,000 has been it's actually funny. I wasn't so high on him after the Dallas game. He didn't look good. Dallas's defense, I think, might be a little underrated in terms of overall talent, but I just think he was just outclassed. But he's been a very good fantasy quarterback with a very high floor. I think he's been a top 10 quarterback every single week, and I think in 2 of the weeks he's been a top 5 quarterback, so fantasy-wise. So you're looking at a guy with a very high ceiling and a very high floor. Dual threat, can run in and throw, obviously. And, Tim, we were watching the game. How many touchdowns did he have that were taken back on dumb penalties? He could have had an even bigger game against Kansas City, whose defense is just awful. But I'm going to go Jalen Hurts at 7,000. Wide receivers, I'm going DJ Moore. Eagles defense is just horrible. They can't get to the quarterback. You're going to be able to throw all day on them. We've seen that time and time again. Tyreek Hill, 3 touchdowns. So I'm going DJ Moore, 7,500. I'm also going to take Laviska Shenault, who I was big on this year, and he really hasn't played great, but he kind of came back to reality, or at least he came back to what I thought his real reality would be last week with DJ Shark being hurt. So I'm going to go Laviska Shenault, and I also am going to take Jacoby Myers, who I think has had a really nice year at 5,600. Against Houston for the Patriots. Running backs, I really wanted to try to find Derrick Henry money, but I just couldn't find Derrick Henry money. So I'm going Austin Eckler, who's had a great game last week and who's played really well, 7,600. I'm also taking Damian Williams. If they win, you're going to see some Damian Williams. If they're losing, you're going to see a lot of catches from Damian Williams. So I think Damian Williams is a pretty safe play there at 5,600. Mike Gesicki, I think, has been on waivers, at least after week 1. Tua clearly doesn't throw to him, and they had multiple tight ends, but Jacoby Brissett seems to hit him all the time. So he's actually been playing really well as of late. 4,200 from Mike Gesicki. I think he's had over 15 fantasy points 2 weeks in a row. And then I'm also at flex. I don't tend to like having a wide receiver in my flex spot, so look for this to change at some point. But I have Tyler Boyd at 5,300. Has played really well with Higgins out, so I do like him there. And then I'm taking the Washington football team, 2,300 for defense. I'm kind of punting on defense when it comes to that kind of stuff. But if their cornerbacks and their defensive backs can figure themselves out and get better, I do think their defense is actually pretty talented. So that's where I'm going with my lineup. I'll look for a few changes to be made in the next coming days with different injuries popping up and who knows. So we turn our direction to boxing before we go through some of our picks for tonight. And we obviously have a big fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. I know Tim and Sir will be over at my house probably watching it Saturday night, so I'm looking forward to that. You have Tyson Fury. First fight, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. I think everybody thought that Fury was going to get knocked out. He did get dropped twice, including a devastating drop in the 12th round, which is shocking that he got up from it. All of that to lead to a draw. Second fight, I think more people were watching it. We all saw what happened. I believe it was a 7th round knockout or around that for Tyson Fury. Ref stopped the fight. Deontay Wilder made excuse after excuse, fired his trainer, Mark Breland, after the fight for throwing in the towel and protecting him. And now you have the third fight, and the third fight's going to be a big fight. It's going to be on DAZN. It's going to be Saturday night. You have Tyson Fury laying 278. You have Wilder plus 230. Going the distance for any direction plus 200. I've only looked that far into it. I think the money at plus 230, I think, might have to be on Wilder. I think that might be the bet that would be made. I don't think Wilder's going to win the fight. I think Fury's the bigger man. We know Fury's the bigger man. Wilder comes into fights at around 217, 220, sometimes as low as 214. Fury's going to be closer to 280. I think he's a better boxer. I think that Wilder doesn't throw his jab as much as he should. He's kind of a home run hitter. And what I mean by that is he relies on big, heavy punches to knock his opponents out. But when his opponent is 80 pounds heavier than him, I don't necessarily know if he has the power to knock him out. I think anybody, I guess, has a puncher's chance. But if you didn't drop him with the punch in the first fight in the 12th round, when Tyson Fury would technically be at his most tired, you would think, and he got right back up, I don't know how you're going to knock him out with one punch or with any kind of combination. So I think Fury's going to win the fight, but if I'm betting, anytime you have Deontay Wilder at plus 230, I mean, it's a hard bet to not take. I think the distance is possible, but these guys don't like each other. I think they respect each other, but if you watched the press conference last week, I do not think they like each other. I made a joke earlier about Scott being excited to discuss this. I know Scott hasn't really been the biggest boxing fan, and boxing has themselves to blame, I think, for that being a corrupt sport and kind of on decline. And COVID really killed boxing in a lot of ways. But hopefully this fight brings it back. Does anybody have any plays, any bets, any questions, anything that they think or like or don't like about this fight?
Go ahead.
So basically, here's my thing. I think the only way that Wilder wins is by knocking him out. So I would look to see what that is. I wouldn't bet him, just to win the fight, because I guess it's not going to be as, because that's got to be what everyone's thinking. If it's plus 240 for him just to win, then it'll probably plus 300 for him to win by knockout. Maybe I would go with that, but I'm with you. I don't see Fury, not after the way he manhandled him last time. I know he made all the excuses because he wore out that fucking juggernaut gear or whatever the fuck he wore to the ring. Said it tired him out. Like, okay, I guess so. If that's what you're going with, then
Tim as a fireman doesn't understand that. He's like, that makes no sense.
I was gonna say that too. Like, Wilder said he came up with an 80-pound costume and it fatigued his legs. And I mean, I know in boxing you need your legs to get behind the punch. And I mean, hey, it smells like a whole lot of excuses when somebody just gives you the sauce. You know what I'm saying?
It is what it is.
So there's actually, you might be onto something. Because if you're looking at like Deontay Wilder, these are rounds for Deontay Wilder to win the fight. So this is round betting, the round for the fight to end and who would win. So you have Deontay Wilder in round 3 plus 2,500. Round 4 is the same. Round 5 is the same. Round 6 is the same. Round 7 is the same. Then you go to Deontay Wilder round 2, third plus 3,300. Round 8, 3,300. Deontay Wilder, round 1 plus 4,000. Round 9 plus 4,000. Round 10 plus 5,000. Round 11 plus 6,600. And Deontay Wilder in round 12, again, dropped him in the 12th round. Dropped Fury in the 12th round the first fight. He got back up. But Deontay Wilder, round 12 to win the fight, plus 8,000. So.
Wait, is there odds like for straight up knockout or?
Winning group of rounds. looking to see.
Because like if I was to bet Wilder, I said
around.
I agree with Sig. I would bet Wilder by knockout. Like because I don't know if he's gonna outbox him. He's gotta put him down.
Wilder by knockout, TKO or disqualification is plus 300. Deontay Wilder by points is plus 1400.
Yeah, no, I think if Wilder wins, he's putting him to sleep. I don't think he's gonna outbox him or like straight up do it by points or he won 7 rounds. No, I think he's putting him down. He's keeping him down if he wins. Again, it's gonna be a good fight. I mean, hopefully Wilder doesn't come dressed like Shredder from Ninja Turtles. Hopefully he just comes out to the ring, says I'm 100%. Let's go. Because
you said the last fight went 7 rounds. That's what you think it is?
I think so. I can look it up real fast.
So that I think that's why they put the total rounds at 7.5. So I would take over 7.5 at -115 if I was going to make a real bet and put more than $25 on it or $50 on it. Just because I don't. If you're going to believe that he's going to knock him out, you're also going to believe that his jumpsuit had something to do with his poor showing. So I'd probably take.
So how about this? No, go ahead. No.
I would probably take him. I would probably take over 7.5 and a side one for him to win by knockout in probably the 8th, 9th, and 10th, just to hedge against and guarantee some potential big money if he actually does knock him out.
How about Wilder by knockout and the Jets money line plus 648? What are your thoughts?
Do it.
I mean, for donkey dollars, yeah, sure. Throw $10 on it, yeah. Net 54. I'll be okay with it. Whatever. All good.
Like, you gotta bet the knockout though, just to make it fun. That's why they make them that's where they make their money back. Like I am betting. Like who wants to? It's like rooting for a draw betting soccer. You know what I mean? You want to bet the win. So like, I would if I'm betting it, I would just bet the knockout for fun, right? You don't want to see.
Speaking of draw, fellas, would you care to share a story about draws?
So we were at Nick's
I don't know
house.
what you're talking about.
We were at Nick's house for the first fight, and it was when we were just joking around. We're looking at different bets to make. It's like they gave a great boost for Fury to win or for Wilder to win the first fight. I was like, we got that in the bag. And then we get down to it, we're like, dude, look, the draw. It's like plus 10,000. Like, can you imagine this went to a draw? And we laughed and we giggled, and then we drank and ate a whole bunch of wings and food, had a great time, and well, then the draw happened.
See what happened was
Plus 10,000.
Imagine.
I'll never forget my dad sitting there, and he was like, for all the dumb shit you guys bet, why wouldn't you have bet that?
Because you don't root for it.
Because
he's not wrong.
Because it would never happen. That should never happen in real life.
I'll be honest with you. I watched that fight. We'll probably watch it again on Saturday. I think Fury won the fight anyway with the 2 knockdowns. I think Fury won the fight. But, it was a draw. Scott, do you have anything on the fight? I know you're not a huge boxing fan. I think you said today earlier, made me laugh. The last fight you watched was Lennox Lewis against Mike Tyson. So
I probably watched the Ramen Lewis one after that, the second one. But yeah,
Rockman,
yeah.
Yeah.
Team Rockman.
I was a big fan growing up. I used to watch Riddick Bowe, Galata, all these guys, and just faded away, man. Like, it just, I don't know. It's like I said to you, my problem with boxing is the fights never happen that should happen when I was growing up. It took forever for Tyson to fight Holyfield. It took forever for fucking Pacquiao to fight Mayweather. And, like, now you got these guys. When we were kids, they used to have Friday night fights, which were free on HBO. And those guys were the guys like Pacquiao and Mayweather. And now those are the headliners. And it's like, as good as the fighting is, I want to see 2 heavyweights wail on each other. And sadly, our best athletes in this country don't box anymore. So, like, it is what it is. So I'm not a huge fan. But I would watch. Apparently, my fucking invite got lost in the mail. But,
Well, you're more than welcome to come. You said you didn't like boxing. I didn't think you'd want to come. You're more than welcome to come.
I'm
Maybe we'll
alright.
do a live post show on the fight.
I'm good. I actually have plans Saturday night. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Oh, we're too good for you? All right, I see you.
No, I hung out with you guys. Nick didn't come that night, remember? I was out.
Yeah, he thought he had to host the hangout, so he was like, I'm doing it.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts on it.
Whoa, and welcome to.
I would bet a knockout if I had to, just to, like, root for it, you know? That's just what I would do.
It's interesting to me that Fury is not just like the biggest odds are not just Fury to win, but Fury to win by knockout is actually pretty surprising to me because, you know, Fury and Wilder, man, I don't know. I'm excited for the fight, though. I'll say this. I just, you know, Fury I don't think has a ton of power. I think Wilder might be telling the truth when it comes to the fact that he was a little tired, and I don't know if you watched the press conference. Like I said, I don't think they like each other, but Fury said, if you didn't knock me out, truly knock me out when I was super tired, you're certainly not knocking me out in this fight. And I think he's coming to beat him. The last thing I'll say on the fight as we wrap up the show and go to the end is they each had like one sentence to say. Wilder said, you better train like your life depends on it because your life depends on it. And Fury just so eloquently said, I'm going to smash your fucking face in. You guys like each other at all. And I'm excited. I really am truly excited for this fight, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited for some wings, man. Let's get it.